So my number one step in the quest to find decent or even high quality knappable stones is just doing a lot of research. I research what the ancients utilized during their time, because 99% of the time that same stone will exist today. I take a look at all of the different geological and soil surveys and assessments for an area. That gives me a little insight or a little bit of an idea on some of the unique qualities of that piece of geography that I'm going to be looking. 3, I always do a map reconnaissance. I get some good topo maps. I take a look at those maps, checking out the different topographic lines, the cuts, the washes, the draws, the river systems, the dried up river systems. Those all give me access points to find stone. Also gives me the different roadways and trail systems that I can also gain access to the stone. So I definitely utilize good old-fashioned topographic maps, as well as I look on Google Maps. I use all sorts of imagery and any sort of technology-based programming that I can come across to help find stone. I'm going to use it. Another thing that I do, typically when I get to the general location where that stone might be, is I reach out to the locals. I ask them, say, hey, what do you know? How do you know? Does anybody around here know anything about the different types of stones that the natives would have used during that time? Sometimes you gotta walk into some seedy locations, you gotta ask people, ask gas station attendants, go to the local museums, go to the local libraries, and reach out to them, see what they say. It's pretty common that they're gonna have an idea of maybe the one guy in town or a couple people in town, or put you in contact with some of the local rock hounding groups or even some of the archaeological societies. But the locals in an area are pretty much a good bet as well to find some of that decent knappable stone. The next thing I do is pretty simple. Get out of my vehicle and I start walking. Once I've done all my research and I've kind of narrowed down my rules, my regulations, I hit the ground. I start walking, throw on a pack, and start looking at some of the different things I can find along the soil, and start making those calls. If it's not the right area, you got to go somewhere else or dig a little bit deeper. What I mean by digging deeper is expand your search area. But if you're looking for that decent stone, it will be in that area. The ancients used it, the geological surveys and assessments say it's there, as well as your reconnaissance of the actual terrain through topographic maps is there. If it's there, it's there. If it's not, make that call, move on. Excuse me. Do you guys know where I can find some high quality Flintknapping stones, something more like a chert or even a jasper? Do you guys know where any of that stuff is? What about you? Right there. Come here. Do you know where anything is? Don't. I'm a nice person. Please don't run away. Can you ask your mom? I don't speak their language. All right, well, thank you. Maybe next time. I'm watching you. I'm watching you. So next, I'm looking for terrain just like this. I'm looking for an opportunity to cover multiple layers of time, if you will. I can start here, look down and dirty, just get an assessment of what's on the ground here, and then travel all the way up to higher elevations to see what stones exist. But again, this is based off of the research, knowing what the ancients used and where they were at, looking at the geological surveys, looking at my topographic maps so I can identify the different draws and cuts and all the access points. So this comes with a little bit of time. My locals didn't really pan out, but we'll see what this has to offer. So let's go. So a lot of this is going to be based off the place you're looking. So, depending on where you go, if I'm looking for some sort of chert or a specific type of chert based off of that cultural reference, that cultural research, and I know it's lying along a river, that's where I'm going to look. I'm going to go to a river, I'm going to walk the riverbeds, the stream beds, whether they're flowing or whether they're dried up. That's going to be my spot. I'm going to look. If I'm looking for any sort of volcanics, like obsidians and dacites and so on and so forth, I'm going to look for ancient volcanoes or dormant volcanoes or lava tubes, you name it. I'm going to start looking. Look at that. Nice little piece of honey jasper right there. That's a find. I like that. Very nice. But yeah, you know, it's case by case. Put the research in. Do your due diligence. Look at the topo maps. Look at the different surveys and assessments, and those will guide you in the right way. They'll definitely point you in the right direction. The next part is really you getting out, walking the ground, finding pieces of this that you can turn into stone tools that you need. Oh, there's a bunch of stuff. Whew. So this right here is what caught my eye, this stone. As you look at it, you can see the material that's on the inside. All of this is different jaspers and agates and different pieces of decent stone. This is an indicator. That's what caught my eye, which caused me to look down, and sitting right next to it was a nice little piece of jasper. So you got to look for these indications right here. Look for these different signs, if you will, that stone that you're looking for is in the area. The terrain will tell you, the earth will tell you exactly what's there. So keep your eyes open. Another great place to look, dried up washes, stream beds, river beds. Definitely good indication of some of the stone that existed in this area. However, this one's a little bit dry. I did find one little piece of pinky like quartzite, but yeah, this is a great spot. Just be careful of the weather. If you got any you know, impending thunderstorms or big amounts of rain coming, these could fill back up and you get some of those flash floods. But great spot to look, pretty accessible. Another great reason why you want to study your maps, study those topo lines, look for those cuts, those draws, anything that gives you access to the different layers of strata in the earth. You should be able to find some stone. I just popped off, just testing it out. It's kind of lower grade quality, but you could definitely pull a flake. And it's a smooth brick, so it's not all jagged, so you could definitely work some points out of this. So a couple nice pieces. I'm gonna punch down this way and see what else we come up with. There. Up too much, but found this little jawbone. Pretty cool. Yeah, a good spot, a good place to check out. Good thing we collect up a few little pieces for samples, maybe make a few small points, but yeah, juice is worth the squeeze. I like this. Fingers crossed. It looks like it's getting a little bigger up and around here. A little bigger. This is like debutage, small flakes. I see this guy, you know, like that's not too bad. That's a keeper. Into the pocket. Oh man. One thing you got to do. Here's a little trick. you look at the cortex on this right here, and then you can also look for stones that have a similar cortex in these fields. That's an indication that on the inside there might be some nice material. It's not always the case, but you gotta pick it up, give it a pop. Get real nicer. Where? Keep talking to me. Look at that. Not bad. Not bad. All right, so all of this right here, this red stuff, this is all this material. All right, here, I believe I've arrived. Let's find some. Lastly, a good thing to have in the back of your truck or even the back of your car is a bucket. Just so when you're out and about and you're collecting up materials, you have a place to put it. Here's a few that I've collected over the past couple days. Some really nice pieces of agates, jaspers, and some unknowable stones. I really don't know what they are, but they spoke to me. It's a nice piece of agate. And I liked it. Some really cool crystals, piece of oil chert, something that really wasn't the most desirable, but it really popped off a nice flake. Don't know what it is, but we'll make a point out of it. Some more honey jaspers, just a whole bunch of stuff. Now these aren't the biggest pieces. There you go, some more agate. But they are pretty nice. You know, you can't pop a flake off, you can't turn it into a point, you can't turn it into maybe a small dart point. One of the important things about this is, yes, I know if you ever find yourself in a real survival situation, you're not going to have all this research. You're not going to have an idea of maybe what the ancients used in that place during a certain portion of time. But you will know what to look for. You'll know to look for in different lines of strata. And as you're gaining elevation, put your eyes to the ground, look for the stone, because it will exist, and it does exist. You find this, you pop a flake off, something as simple as that, you now have that 10,000-year-old survival tool. Nice little blade. The easiest way to make a knife, pop, just like that. So, yeah, this is what I've been collecting over the past couple days. Got about half a bucket. I think I've hit my fill. I'm going to head back to the great state, but yeah, I've been pulling out some real beauties. Maybe you throw them in a rock tumbler. Maybe you give them out as a few gifts. Maybe after you've collected your large amount of pieces, you take 10, 12, 13, whatever you feel is necessary for you to make some points or do your projects with, and give the rest back to the land. Look at that. That's some jasper right there. Perfect. Well, I'm going to do just that. And I'm going to get back on my way home. Man, just some great finds these past couple days. Whew. Excited. The Trapper Shack is calling. Look at that one. This is a piece of petrified coral. Maybe petrified wood. Another big piece of red jasper. Real beauties. Might have actually been an artifact. Looks like there's a long flake run. Everything's an option.